Hey, so it looks like we're live, ladies. I'm so excited. It says one person here. I'm not sure if that one person is me. It likely is. I'm not sure. But here we are. We made it to our first Latinas Out Loud and Vivo moment space that we're sharing together where we're telling our stories, and I'm so excited to have you both here. I think we'll give it just a minute to see who pops in. If that's okay with you both, can we just hang for a second? Okay, cool. Yeah, and I just want to say my kids, you mentioned Juliana, your husband's home with your kids. My kids are also home. They're older, so they're kind of hiding away, but the dog has been like in a weird mood lately, so hopefully she's not going to bark. Cool. So we have a few people that have joined. Thank you so much for joining. We're just going to hang back at just a couple minutes to see who else can pop in. How's your day, ladies?
Good. Elena, I was going to ask, is your dog needy, like clingy today?
Yeah, she's 12 years old, and she had a surgery this week, and so she's been like, she's been a little bit extra like needing things.
Aw, pobrecita. My puppy is now like 3, about to be 4. I call him Puppy. He's a dog. He's
Yeah.
grown, but he's so clingy. In the mornings when I'm really concentrated wanting to work, he'll actually jump on my seat. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, it's time for me to go step outside and take some steps and enjoy it.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yes. Yeah, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And my 2-year-old, he's just been, the way he communicates is through screaming. So if he wants something, he just starts screaming, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then with the 5-year-old, it's like seeing their relationship. I don't have brothers or sisters. So I'm like, oh my gosh, the sibling, like, they love each other in 1 minute and the other, and they're fighting about something. Navigating all of that.
That's how it goes, especially when you're busy. They need your attention all of a sudden. Cool. Looks like we have Bradley here. Thanks so much for being here. I think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need my glasses 1 second. She knew. V is here. Jose is here. Thank you so much for being here. So excited. I think just to honor the time, we can go ahead and get started a little bit. I'll just explain a little bit about this whole series. So Latinas Out Loud in Vivo. It is something that has been living in my heart for a while, to create community spaces where we can tell stories and share our stories with one another. I've been thinking about this a lot in the last couple of days, that I've been calling this an event, but it just feels like such a small word for what we're doing. Really what this is we are transcending time and space. It's more of a movement through time where we're sharing pieces of our history, personal or stories that have been passed down to us, as a way to celebrate. And in a way, it's revolutionary to bring forth these stories that just enhance our collective humanity and bring us together as one people. Because whether or not we were here for these stories or we were part of this history, the truth is that these experiences vibrate throughout all of our lives and throughout all of existence. So to have the opportunity to speak on it is just it's just enhancing the strength of our community. This is definitely art in its truest form, because we are telling our truths, but this is in no way performative. It is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be honest, and while you may feel entertained by it, we may laugh, we may cry, we may stumble over our words. Children might pop into the scenes, dogs might bark, like things might happen, but this is the nature of telling a true and honest story. And the stories, and we were talking about this earlier, that we're all feeling a little nervous. All of us, I think, have been on podcasts before and done lives and things like that. But this feels a little bit more vulnerable, because it is a personal story, true to us, told in our own words. And this is why these women and myself, I'm making myself my flowers too, we're so brave in doing this and sharing this piece of ourselves, because it's not something that we've polished. it's going to come straight from our hearts out to you all as a way to be able to pull you in and pull us together as a community and celebrate that, that in ourselves. In that way, like I said, it's not going to be perfect. And I'm just so honored that you both said yes to doing this and are like blazing the trail on this storytelling event, sharing your histories and sharing your stories. I know that while this story is going to be so genuine to you, you may tell this story again at another time in history, but it will never be told like this, right? This is very unique to this space. So I honor you so much, and I thank you so much. And I may get like emotional at some point. So that it is what it is. Okay. Before we like really dive in, and Juliana is going to be our very first storyteller. The tema this time is La Mesa, whatever comes up around. I just left it at that, La Mesa, what comes up for you. Juliana will go first. But before we go into it, is there anything that you all want to say? We have about 6 people joining us today. Do you want to say something to open up this space? I'm going to pass it to you both.
Well, I want to thank you for opening this space. I've never done this ever, where I'm telling a personal story, like storytelling. I guess we do it, but not in front of the camera. We do it with our friends, we do it with our family. But it is, I'm nervous, but I hope that what I share resonates with someone, and yes, I think I love what you're doing, so I can't wait to hear Yvonne's too.
Yeah.
I mean, likewise, I feel really lucky to be in the space with you all right now, and everybody that's tuning in. My hope is that through me sharing and through us sharing, in my mind, I'm calling it like a journal entry. That maybe you can also go and find and figure out that specific moment in time. Because I think even with a short prompt, we all go somewhere almost immediately and escarbarle, right? Like dig into why it is that we go to that particular space, thought, mindset. And then what is the story, or a story, or multiple stories attached to it? And how can we bring people to a moment in time to help us shine light on why that particular moment is so important. So my hope really beyond even my story being any kind of impactful is actually that you all are inspired, or there's a little bit of curiosity of like, oh, what is how would I answer this? Or what is that moment in time for me? What does that look like? That's always what stories do to me. So I'm just excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So yes, we'll listen to the stories, and my hope is like Yvonne and Juliana said, that you'll take this and ask yourself the question, and ask friends and family around you, share your stories with others, and let's like catch fire. Let's let this catch fire, and just, continue telling our stories and our truth, and create a whole movement around this. Wonderful. Okay, so we are going to go off camera, Yvonne and I, while Juliana tells her story, and then we'll pop back in as our turns come up. But I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off and my audio off, Juliana, and then you can take it away.
Okay. Okay. When I first heard that the theme for today was La Mesa, or the table, my mind didn't go to an abstract concept. It went straight to a physical object that I have in my home. It's our dining room table. It's a table. It's black. It's very long, and it has matching black chairs with gray cushions, and along one side, a big bench. And both the table and the bench were built by my husband. And the reason why he built this huge table is because he has 9 brothers and sisters, and we have 23 nieces and nephews. So we couldn't find a table that was big enough to sit all of us. So he had a purpose. We wanted to have this table for Thanksgiving, and he built it. But no matter how beautifully crafted a table is really just a piece of furniture until you bring people in. So I remember one Thanksgiving, my brother-in-law, he said he had the idea of, okay, we have to go around the table and all of us are going to say one thing that we're thankful for. And of course, the table doesn't sit 50 people. So we had the adults on the main table, and then we made a long train of small tables for the kids. And at first, it started kind of silly. People, my other brother-in-law, he was like, hi, everyone, my name is Jimmy. And everybody responded, hi, Jimmy. And, like mimicking like a support group. And we were laughing. It was really great. But as we started sharing what we were thankful for, the tone and the mood changed. It felt like a little deeper because we were sharing what was happening in our lives at that time. And the table became a mirror. It became like a reflection of what was happening in our lives. So when I look back at that table year after year, we've had it for over almost 10 years now, I realized that that table has been the ultimate witness to the seasons of my life too. One of those Thanksgivings, I was sitting at the table looking around, and I was so excited to share that I was thankful to finally be pregnant. I was pregnant after years of struggling with fertility issues. And my sister-in-law was actually the nurse at the fertility clinic I was going. And we were all really, really happy. And I had so much joy of having life inside me. And it was past the 3 months. So my husband and I felt like nothing can go wrong. It's after 12 weeks. We shared it. We had so much joy. And the next year, I was sitting on the same table, same chair on the same table. And this time I was just thankful that I was alive, because during that course of the year, I lost my baby at 5 months, and it broke my husband and I in ways that I didn't think it was possible. So that following Thanksgiving, I was just thankful that I was alive, that I was still standing. And that table has also seen heavy passages of time. We have lost family members. We have lost our 2 dogs that we had. They were part of this table at some point. And I remember specifically another Thanksgiving where we got to take a picture, 50 of us in one picture. We made it work. And that was my sister-in-law's boyfriend last Thanksgiving, because he passed away that year. So to me, La Mesa is this piece of furniture is not just a piece of furniture, is taking us year after year to the same place. It connects us in one physical space where we share our highest highs and we hold each other during our lowest lows. And to me, that's what La Mesa means. Thank you. I forgot one thing. I forgot something. I forgot. I forgot to say that after my miscarriage, again, it's like we were sharing grief, but we were also sharing joys. And that Mesa has seen that I was able to get pregnant again with my daughter, and then again with my son. And now my daughter is not a baby anymore. She is, this year, will be able to sit down at that table and share what she's thankful for. And yes. Okay, now I'm done.
And that was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing so much. I'm honoring your story and your vulnerability to share all of that. No words. I'll just move next to Yvonne, who's going to share her story. Thank you for sharing.
Breathing through it. Okay, I'll get started. Like I said, I feel like this is almost like a journal entry. So when I was in kindergarten, let me know if you can't hear me, but when I was in kindergarten, maybe first grade, I think, we were getting ready for a Hispanic Heritage Month celebration that the entire elementary school was going to be a part of. So every class had a performance prepared, and we were going to share it with friends and family and the entire school at the school assembly. At the time, I think our performance was around farm workers and the farm worker movement. So, of course, the 4th and 5th graders were the stars of the show, and we were almost like the backup dancers, but still a very important role. We were going to be playing the farmers in the background. So in class for weeks, we learned about how farmers harvested fruits and vegetables, how a seed turned into that delicious fruit that we all love and enjoy. And for our big performance, our teacher asked us to bring seeds from a fruit to class so that we could all see what different fruit seeds looked like. And I'm not going to lie, because I think that my memory is a little bit blurry around the exact time, but I believe she gave us around 2 weeks to bring these seeds to class. I was 5 years old again. So that same day, I went home. I looked at our fruit basket that always sat on la mesa, on our table, and I realized that we didn't have any fruit. And so I said to myself, okay, no pasa nada. I still have time, right? I still have time. She gave us 2 weeks to do it. And every day after school for a little over a week, yo tenía esa presión, that pressure of I need to bring seeds to class, and we don't have any fruit at home. And the first few days I came into class, seeing how everyone brought their own little Ziploc bag filled with a particular kind of seed from a fruit they had. And it was like that for a couple weeks. So I would see my name on that blue banner with plastic inserts. I don't know if anybody remembers those. So oftentimes they looked like red, yellow, green of how you did during the class. But it indicated that my fruit seeds were still pending, and I would just look at it every single day. Y lo que pasó es que we just didn't have any fruit in the house. And I don't even think that I brought it up to my mom. I just assumed that when we were able to get it, it would be there. So one day I came home and there was a large bag of red apples. I say red apples because that's, to me, is an important note. My favorite kind of apple is actually the green apples. So any other day I would have been extremely disappointed. But on that day I was like, okay, good. I get to just bring the seeds finally to my class. So I started biting into the apple and spitting it back out. I know, hella wasteful, but really all I cared about was getting those seeds and bringing them to class. So yo, bien contenta, the next day, I go up to my teacher and I give her my homework. Le entrego la tarea. And though I was 5 years old, I still remember feeling myself smiling from ear to ear in that moment. Like I can see myself doing that when I go back to this moment, handing over my seeds and expecting my teacher to praise me in the same way that she had praised everyone else who gave her seeds. Instead, it was, Yvonne, why did you bring apple seeds? We already have a ton of those. I told you to bring something different. Were those her exact words? Probably not. I can't even remember, but that was the essence of it. The essence of it was she was annoyed that I had taken so long and brought apple seeds when other students had already brought these. And so my smile quickly turned into heart pounding, cheeks feeling really red, blushing, feeling like I had ants all over my cheeks and tears filling my eyes. And still till this day, I remember the image of what I was looking up to. She was a younger white woman, had curly hair, had a number 2 pencil in her ear. She always wore that there, and was wearing orange. That's literally all that I remember. Everything else beyond that was a blur to me after that moment. And I don't even remember what happened during our performance, how it went, but I imagine that I did what I needed to do, performed, and moved on from that moment like any other kid does, until I became an adult. And I realized that that was one of the very first moments where I felt different, and not only different, but negatively called out for my differences, for things that were completely out of my control. So in my mind, sure, maybe that moment speaks to my family's financial situation, or maybe it was an indicator of my mom being so tired from working day in and day out while raising us as a single mom, que se le pasó ir a la super. Maybe she was too tired to go grocery shopping. I get that. As an adult, I understand that now. This story is definitely to me an indicator of a system represented through my teacher at the time that doesn't look to understand the experiences of the communities they serve. And looking back on that, that was so inappropriate for her to say in the tone that she said it in front of everybody, and spoke to, in my mind, from my perspective, her lack of cultural competence. But what that moment did to me every day after that was plant a seed of self-doubt. As the first in my family to graduate college, get a big girl tech job at a tech company, I said that, surrounded by decision makers that looked nothing like me and who used these big words to describe their ideas and contributions, I was afraid to be myself in these spaces, to bring the only fruit seeds I had at home and be ridiculed for them, to misrepresent my community, to mess up. So after that, and throughout all of my tech career and pretty much early career and every career after that, if my assignment was to bring seeds, I was going to bring you 6 different kinds of seeds and probably add an extra one in there just for good measure. Desde ese entonces, cada mesa, every table that I was a part of, I felt like I had to prove myself. And I felt lucky to be there, out of place, and not sure how it even happened, but ready to always prove myself. I felt like I needed to prove myself. So much so that I played a part. So I played a part of someone more extroverted, because that's who gets opportunities. Someone a little less Latina. I have many stories about that, but I will lean into that at some other point, maybe the next one in another conversation. But like that fruit that comes from the seeds and who gets its nutrients from the soils, I feel like I'm always in a constant journey of making it back to myself, to my roots. And as I was thinking about this story and what it meant to me and the moral of what I wanted to bring today, I kept coming back to this phrase, which is part of my values in some ways. It's hay frijoles en la casa, which, yes, like there's beans in the house. That's the literal translation, which, yes, is used as a way for us to save money and not be wasteful. But today I almost use it as a metaphor to remind myself that it means going back to me and recognizing that what I need to exist at these tables is what I already have within me. And I believe that to be true of all of us. At some point, maybe we all have had these seeds planted in us, whether those be great ones that allowed us to flourish or moments and seeds of self-doubt. But the important part, I think, in all of this is to come back to self and recognize that at the root of it all, no matter what systems we exist in that don't actually see us, that cannot see our lived experience, and unconsciously sometimes call us out on our differences, not knowing why I couldn't bring a fruit seed to class. It is okay. It is okay to come back. That's not okay, but it's okay to come back to self and recognizing that we already have everything that we actually need within ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne, for sharing that. Whew, these stories are so incredible. And something that I'm going to implement, I think that I wish I would have done with Juliana is can I just turn off my camera and audio for 10 seconds and let these stories land? Because they're so rich. I feel like we just need a minute. I'm going to just give 10 seconds. Is that okay? Okay. Just hang with me. Okay, whew, I'm up next. These stories are so amazing. Thank you. I just needed it to land before we move on. Okay. So when I thought of this tema de mesa, when it came to me, downloaded to me, I have many mesa stories, but there's one that I had to tell that gives permission for all the rest of them to come out. And it's the story of this mesa that I'm sitting at right now. This mesa is my dining room table. And many, many things have happened at this table. This is where we eat dinner. It's where I've served many meals. It's where my husband and I have reviewed past due bills. It's where we've had reviewed report cards. My parents have brought flowers to this table from gardens that they have nurtured and grown from their own hands. And so much has happened here. I'm so grateful to have this table. The first time I sat at this dining room table was in the home of my someday to be husband, who is now my husband now, but he wasn't then. And it was in their home where he lived. I was pregnant at the time with a child who did not make it to this earth. And I was sitting across from my someday to be father-in-law, and he called me princesa for the first time. It was my someday to be husband served me a tuna fish sandwich at that table that day. But I would not sit at this table again after that day for another 10 years. So that day that I got the tuna fish sandwich and that my father-in-law called me princesa, it took me 10 years to make it back to that table, this table. But before that happened, even long before I had ever sat at the table, this table was given to me, my husband's birth mother and father sat at this table. They sat at this table and they went to my husband's godparents, who were also his aunt and uncle, and they told them that they were dying. It was about the late 80s, early 90s. And they had AIDS or HIV, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to be around for their children. It was him and his two siblings. And they came to this table to ask them if they would take in these three children. At the time, my husband was probably 13 or 14. And they said yes. And so keep in mind at the time, these two godparents of his, who were also his aunt and uncle, were in their 60s, and they had already raised their children, and they were ready to slow down in life. But without hesitation, they looked at them and they said, yes, of course, we'll take them in. So they took them in, and he moved into a home after his biological parents had passed away. He moved into their home, which had this table. This became his new dining table, and it was 5 minutes from where I lived at the time. And so I look at this table and I think about all of the things, the hard conversations, the devastation, the love, the arguments, the bill paying, everything that has happened at this table. And I can feel all of those memories ingrained into the wood of this table. And when my mother-in-law, before she passed away, who was his aunt and uncle, became his parents, before she passed away, she asked me if I would take this table and put it in my home. And I immediately said yes. And it wasn't because it fit my particular aesthetic. In fact, the table is a little old-fashioned, some would say, and it's a little bit too big for my humble home. But I said yes because I knew that this mesa that I'm sitting at carried with it a history of my family And it changed things at this table, conversations that happened at this table were things that I didn't know were going to change my life. The day that my suegro sat at this table with my husband's parents and said yes to them being part of their family, they didn't know it, but they were saying yes to me being part of the family. And they were saying yes to my children being part of the family. And I look at things like Mesa's and I think about who we allow in and who she allowed to sit at this table, which was my husband and his siblings, and how she invited me, I'm getting emotional, into this space and at this table. And I think about all of the things that make up this table that also make up our lives as humans and our history and our lives as a family. All of the arguments and the decisions, all of the lovely times. I've spent so many Thanksgivings at this table in their home before it came to my home. And I've been thinking so much about the power of who we invite in to our tables and who we say yes to and what that can create for our community. Just this past weekend, we celebrated an event here at my house with this beautiful table. And I was watching all of the people sit around the table, including new friends, new boyfriends from other people that they had brought in that had never sat at this table before. And I just saw the joy that it held and all of the things we were able to bring because we said yes to welcoming people into our home, because we said yes to letting them sit here at this table with us. I don't know the people that were here just this weekend. There were about 30 of us here sitting at this table. And I don't yet know all of the ways that that moment at this table is going to change the lives of the people going forward in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years from now. But I do know that this table will continue to make history throughout my family because my mother-in-law said yes. And because we're saying yes to inviting people to our table too. And that's what La Mesa means to me. Sorry, I had to go off camera for a second because I got emotional. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Are you still there?
Yes. That was so beautiful. Yes.
Whew, we did it.
Yes.
So many beautiful comments. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We have about 9 people here. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. They were lucky to have you at their table. I think that was for you, Yvonne. Love that, Yvonne. Beautiful, amiga. That was for you, Juliana. Beautiful story. Yes, thank you so much for sharing, ladies. Any words about that experience for you, sharing that?
I have a question for you both.
Mm-hmm.
How are you processing? Is this the first time that you're sharing this story out loud? I know for Juliana it was. Maybe in a different capacity you've shared this before. But what are the actual feelings going through your body, your mind right now? Like, what's happening? How are you feeling about saying this out loud in this moment and in this particular way?
Great question. You want to answer? Go ahead, Juliana. Looks like.
I think it's like I never thought of the table of La Mesa in that way, and it made me. There's like too many things going on in my head. I feel like I like a relief sharing the story, and I hope it connects to all of you in different ways. But I'm also thinking about both of your stories. And I'm thinking about Yvonne as a little girl, and I was a teacher. So I was like, oh no, I want to be your teacher and tell you that's great that you brought red apples. That's great. Oh yeah, we have so many red apples.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
And the impact that words have. And as a teacher, Yvonne's story, it touched me. It touched my teacher heart, and how impactful. Like, she might not remember that she said that, It was probably like a comment that she made.
Mm-hmm.
But how a phrase can make or break, right, someone and have an impact in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elena's story, it's similar to the story that I shared, in knowing that we have, like, our table has seen so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was very, like, I shared that experience with you, and it's nice to also connect in that way. And so I'm reflecting on both of your stories, and then I'm also reflecting on, okay, my story, on what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think for me, and this is just, I think the power of sharing these stories. Many people know that story because they've lived it, right? It's not just all my story, right? There's many people in that story that were there and when I wasn't. But telling that story, I think in this space here, I can feel all of the love and the heartache as I'm telling the story. It's like coming through. It's coming through, and it's not in a bad way. It's just like and I think I'm experiencing, and that's what I think is meant to happen as we tell these stories, right? Whether it's us that the feelings are coming through for, or the person listening that it's touching and coming through for, but it's just bringing it all back to life and in all of its fullness. So I feel very full from this story, and I feel and the relief that you're talking about, Juliana, I can feel that too, because it feels like a relief, but it feels like a healing.
Yes.
Right? A healing of like things that, in ways that things didn't go exactly the way it needed to go, or that we wanted it to go. But we see what the result of it is. So it definitely feels like a healing in that way. What about you, Iwan? How does it feel for you? I love the question, by the way.
I think same thing. I mean, I think that I was nervous coming into it, and I'm nervous all the time. I'm just a nervous being. It's just who I am. But I think I'm also feeling a sense of relief, and this happens all the time where I'm like, oh, not that wasn't that bad, but it was, oh, I have not only so much more to say, but also it feels good to have it out there and have someone else experience it with me. Even though I love internalizing and I love keeping things to myself, it is a beautiful relief to also be able to share it with others and have other people hold that and see it, and whether they connect to an experience similar, that happened in their own life, or they just connect with me more deeply, or we connect with each other more deeply. To me, the relief comes from it being now a shared story versus something that just lives and I deal with myself.
Yeah. I love that so much. Yes. Thank you all for being here. Any other last words we want to say? I feel like your stories are just still landing, and I can feel them inside of me. You know what I mean? And so that's why I think for the next ones we have, just shutting off for just that little space to let it sink in and feel. I felt your stories were so powerful, and I just want them to like settle in a little bit,
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to tuning in to the rest of the series. This is really cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Wonderful. And for anyone that is interested, I will be doing this monthly. I didn't want to commit to it right away, but I'm like, okay, we got to do this once a month. Like this has to keep going. So I will be announcing, I'm going to look at my calendar. I'll be announcing the next one shortly, probably early next week. I'll announce it. But the link on my Substack and my Instagram, Elena OutLoud, or my Substack is Elena OutLoud or Latinas OutLoud. You can find the interest form where if you're interested in being one of the next storytellers, I'd love to hear your stories. I don't quite have the thema yet. However, I do have some ideas of what it will be. We'd love to have you and continue sharing in this space these stories that are so powerful and important for us to continue to keep sharing. And also don't forget to, if you don't already, to follow Yvonne. Yvonne, where is the best way people can follow you?
Across platforms, Chats with Yvonne. I'm new to Substack, so I think I am also on here, but I'm new to the platform.
And then Juliana.
And I'm the Bilingual Mom Live on across platforms too. And I really hope that this is the first time I've ever done things like this. Like, I don't show my face online, and I just work behind the scenes, and I think we need to have more stories out loud, and I want to be part of it as a viewer too. I want to hear stories, and I hope that the stories today inspire you to just sign up and do one. And next month it might be you who are sharing a story here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I won't always share a story. I wish Substack can have where we can bring more people in at once, but for now, this is what we have. But I definitely wanted to share one this first time around to, like help pave the way, because it wasn't as easy as I thought, honestly. Like when I came up with this idea, I was like, oh, I can tell stories all day long, like no big deal. But I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a little bit scary. So yes, hopefully I'm not popping off. I'm just trying to really quickly, I should have had this prepared. Oh, well, I was trying to get my my link to the form, but you can find it on my Substack or the link in my Instagram, Latinas OutLoud. Just find me on Substack and message me. I'll put it in our chat as well. So thank you so much. I honor you and your stories. I can't tell you how grateful I am to the both of you for being so vulnerable, so open to sharing your story. So thank you. And we will definitely do this again.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Oh, Yvonne did it. Oh my gosh, you did. Oh, my link tree. Okay. Thank you so much. You're the best. Okay. The link tree is there. Yeah. So follow me and let's keep it going. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.